The Twitch CEO is now facing one of the most intense and culture-defining backlashes the streaming world has ever seen. And it all started with a single statement that cut deeper than most people realize. Let's get straight into it.
It probably should be more historical.
Yeah.
Like in other words, Kai is big now, but arguably it's like, now he asked me, so I had to put him on there. But arguably it's like, look, you're great, but you can't be on the Mount Rushmore yet.
See, I put it should be Speed, Kai, Queso.
Right.
When no, there's soda.
Well, initially when I was doing it, because of course part of it is you just don't remember people. And initially I mentioned Speed, and then I was like, oh no, and I swapped Speed out for Queso.
Yeah.
Okay.
After years of watching Kai Cenat and IShowSpeed change the entire landscape of modern streaming, after witnessing them bring millions of new viewers to Twitch, break records that were once considered impossible, redefine entertainment for a new generation, and carry an entire platform into the global spotlight, the Twitch CEO recently suggested that neither Kai nor Speed have done enough to be considered among the greatest streamers of all time. The moment those words left his mouth, the internet stopped, stared, and felt the weight of betrayal. Because what he said wasn't just a critique. It was a statement of erasure. It was a dismissal of achievements that were loud, undeniable, historic, transformative, achievements that everyone watched happen in real time. To the millions of people who have followed Kai's rise like a modern cultural movement, to the global audience that sees Speed as a generational phenomenon, the CEO's remark wasn't just disrespectful. It was insulting. And that's why backlash erupted instantly, violently, emotionally. Because for many people, Kai Cenat and IShowSpeed represent more than content creation. They represent a new era of streaming built on authenticity, personality, humor, energy, culture, and most importantly, a shift in who gets to be the face of internet entertainment. And for the CEO of Twitch to look at all of that and essentially say they still haven't done enough feels like a door being slammed shut in the face of an entire community that fought to be seen, heard, and recognized. What makes this situation even more explosive is the hypocrisy layered beneath it. Because this same CEO appeared on Kai Cenat's stream, smiling, laughing, playing along, soaking up the publicity and cultural relevance that came from standing next to the most influential streamer of this era.
And if you're going to Mount Rushmore streamers, obviously, I think Ninja has to be there, right?
Yep.
Those are two easy ones. And then I think you probably put Pokey there as, in other words, as a female streamer. If you go back in time, there's so many, yeah.
He benefited from the association, from the viewership spike, from the press headlines, from the social media attention. He wanted to be seen with Kai when the cameras were on, when the moment was convenient, when the platform could profit from Kai's name. And yet, when asked on a neutral stage to recognize greatness, to acknowledge impact, to speak honestly about legacies, he turned around and denied Kai a place among the greats. That is why people are calling this racist. That is why people are calling this disrespectful. Because this is a pattern that has existed far beyond Twitch. A pattern where black talent can be praised when they're entertaining, when they're profitable, when they are useful to the system, but are still denied credit when it comes to history, legacy, and recognition. Twitch didn't give Kai power. Kai gave Twitch relevance in an era where attention is scarce. Twitch didn't amplify Speed. Speed's energy redefined the cultural blueprint for streaming across the entire internet. For the CEO to pretend otherwise is not just inaccurate. It reveals who Twitch values and who Twitch tolerates. And that difference is why people are furious. And the backlash isn't just loud, it's personal. Because for the first time in his career, Kai Cenat has gone quiet. Not yelling, not reacting, not defending himself, not firing back. Just silence. And that silence carries more weight than any statement ever could. Because silence means he is thinking. Silence means he is evaluating trust. Silence means he has finally realized his power. If Kai wanted to walk away from Twitch tomorrow, he could. If he wanted to sign with YouTube, Kick, Rumble, or create his own independent live platform, he could. And his millions of viewers would follow him without hesitation. Twitch does not own Kai's audience. Kai does. Twitch does not own Speed's influence. Speed does. And now the CEO has positioned himself as the reason that Twitch may lose both of them. The platform is already deteriorating. Ad revenue problems, creator payout complaints, policy confusion, competition from YouTube, and Kick. Twitch has been in decline. And the one thing that kept it culturally dominant was the fact that Kai Cenat made Twitch feel alive. He made Twitch unpredictable. He made Twitch mainstream. He made Twitch matter. And now the CEO has jeopardized that relationship with one careless statement rooted in ego, disconnection, and cultural blindness. The internet is not letting this go. TikTok is flooded with clips calling out the CEO's hypocrisy. Twitter is filled with people demanding accountability. YouTube commentary channels are breaking down the timeline. Streamers across every community are weighing in. People are unearthing every past moment where Twitch failed to support Black creators. And the pattern is undeniable. Black streamers have spoken for years about being underpromoted, under-advertised, under-celebrated, except when the platform needs them to boost image or engagement. Kai and Speed didn't rise because Twitch helped them. Twitch rose because they helped Twitch. That's the difference. And that's why this moment hurts. Because the CEO's words didn't just dismiss success, they dismissed everything these creators fought through to get here. Kai didn't come from privilege. He didn't grow with handed opportunities. He built an empire off nothing but personality, consistency, energy, cultural understanding, and authenticity. He shattered a ceiling that no one thought could be broken. And instead of being honored, he's being minimized. And now we arrive at the moment where everything becomes clear. The moment where you realize that this is not just about streaming rankings, not just about a CEO's opinion, not just about online chatter. This is about who gets remembered, who gets written into the story of streaming history, and who gets pushed aside. Kai Cenat and IShowSpeed did not just build audiences, they built eras. They changed culture. They introduced a new wave of humor, energy, chaos, connection, and most importantly, representation. They brought millions of young Black kids into a space where they finally saw someone who looked like them winning at the highest level. Not as a side character, not as a joke, not as the loud one or the fun one, but as the face of the platform. And for the CEO of that platform to pretend that legacy is not enough, it hit the world like a message we've all heard before. Your impact is real, but we still don't want to call you great. And that is why the backlash is not dying. That is why the comments, the reactions, the outrage keep building louder every single day. Because this is more than Twitch. This is the entertainment industry, the music industry, the film industry, the corporate world. The same cycle repeating, where Black culture builds a wave and then the system tries to pretend that wave didn't happen. But this time, people are not letting it happen quietly. Kai's community is not the kind that forgets. Speed's audience is not the kind that backs down. The culture that helped these two rise is not the kind that stays silent. And Twitch is learning the hard way that you cannot profit from a movement and then deny the people who built it. If Twitch wants to survive in the future, they will have to face this moment. They will have to acknowledge what they have tried to ignore. They will have to recognize that greatness does not always look the way they're used to. And if they don't, the world will move on without them. Because Kai does not need Twitch to be great. Speed does not need Twitch to be relevant. The platform needs them to stay alive. And that is what makes this moment so important. Because depending on what happens next, we could be witnessing the end of Twitch as we know it, or the beginning of a reckoning that forces the platform to finally evolve. Either way, this will go down in streaming history. So watch closely. Pay attention. Because when the next move happens, whether Kai speaks, whether Speed responds, whether Twitch tries to repair or ignore the situation, the entire direction of the platform will shift.